Hi tribes, good to see you all. Hope you're having an amazing week wherever you are. It's Monday afternoon for me right now. I just want to say a huge welcome to our new tribe at Robin and Julie's house. Hope you guys are all doing really well. Just before we jump into what we're going to talk about tonight, can I encourage any of you who haven't yet thought about or signed up for HOTS training this weekend. Friday night, Saturday, Mark Marks is down and will be in the venue. HOTS training isn't just for those of you who feel like you're convinced that you're going to go pray for people on the streets of our city. If you just want to learn more about how to pray effectively for friends, family members, colleagues, can I really encourage you to sign up and go along. The training is brilliant and of course will challenge you and stretch you and all that kind of stuff. But as far as just the next step in your journey, maybe you want to just go along this Friday and Saturday night, you can still find out information on the website and you can sign up there. Wonderful. So we've had a pretty amazing, I think, few weeks, particularly studying through this book of Ephesians. For me anyway, I've just been deeply challenged again as I've reflected on this text, what it means for us as a whole community, what it means for our city and what God's actually doing. But I thought Sunday past was just a really special treat. Stu did a phenomenal job of teaching through Ephesians chapter 4 and helping ground what we've been talking about in real applicable practice for us. I love that he challenged us to remember that transformed lives transform cities, that as we wrestle with this idea of how do we become God's love song to our city, it really starts with us allowing God's Spirit to transform us into the likeness of Jesus so that we can demonstrate that to our everyday, ordinary contexts and where we do life. So really simple conversation tonight, but maybe quite profound. You'll maybe remember, if you were out on Sunday, Stu threw a slide up on the stage as he or up on the screen as he unpacked what Jesus' life actually looked like. And he really challenged us in these two kind of ways that spiritual formation happens, as it happens in our personal practices and rhythms and happens as God's Spirit meets us there. He said this brilliant line, grace is opposed to earning but not effort. And that is so true, that if we want to become like Jesus in our city, then that requires something of us. It requires concentrated, specific, intentional effort. And I love his tone and how he taught that on Sunday, that there was nothing condemnatory, if that's even a word, but it was hopeful, it was visionary. I was personally inspired again to just refocus on the daily practices of learning how to live the rhythms of Jesus all around me. I'm going to read out the list that he used on Sunday. If you're a leader, you might want to pause the video, get a piece of paper and pen or even your phone out and write these down, because the rest of your evening is going to be spent talking and discussing these different practices and who has experience in what and how can you learn and grow in these. So you might want to pause me right now and grab a piece of paper and pen, and then we can jump back in. So I'm going to read these off. James is hiding behind the camera with a list, so I'm going to read them and you can write them down, and then I'll have some questions for you. So here's the list as we reflect on what did the life of Jesus look like. This was the list: sharing the gospel, eating and drinking with those far from God, investing in intimate friendships, peacemaking, teaching the way of apprenticeship, doing justice, learning the scriptures, praying, healing the sick, Sabbath, demonstrating the miraculous, forgiving, building community, silence and solitude, fasting, sharing in the sacraments, sharing prophetic insight, and serving the poor. I wonder which of those are familiar to you and which are totally foreign. If we are to be transformed into the likeness of Jesus, if we are supposed to be a family of formation or an apprenticeship academy, as Stu said on Sunday, which of these practices are familiar to you and which are foreign? Which do you feel strong at and where do you feel weak? And how do you incorporate these into the rhythm of your life, your day, your week and your month? We'd love you to just maybe even go through the list who has experience in them, who doesn't, how do you do them, how do you not, and maybe the best thing is to pick one or two and say over the next month or until the next week at Tribe, when we gather, I'm going to practice this particular one and share those with each other, pray for each other, and have a wonderful night. We'll see you at the weekend. God bless.